It's Jack from B&T MacFarlane, and today we're going over the brand new Kubota Z202 models. So let's get into it. Kubota has finally went ahead and redesigned the Z200 series, and it's upgraded to the Z202 series. So they've come out with 5 brand new models. This one right here is the top of the line Kawasaki one with all the bells and whistles, but there are other ones available. The deck sizes are 42 inches, 48 inches, and 54 inches. This is the biggest one that we're going to be looking at today. And then there's a couple different engine choices and some new engine choices in the Z202 lineup. On the 42-inch deck, they've kept that relatively the same with the 21.5 horsepower Kawasaki engine with a 42-inch deck. That's going to be Kubota's smallest zero-turn that they make. This is going to be a bit of a price fighter, entry-level zero-turn. Someone with 1 to 2 acres of grass, and they don't need something too fancy, but definitely want to get into the zero-turn market. And then up from there, there's the 48-inch deck. These come in 2 different models. That's going to be the Kohler engine model and the Kawasaki engine. This is going to be the brand new engine. Some of the Z200s have Kawasaki engines in the 48 and 54, where previously the only engine choices were a Kohler or a Briggs in this size of deck. So that definitely is a really good addition. And then there are 54-inch deck options. This is the biggest deck option in the Z200 series. And again, they're available in a Kohler engine or a Kawasaki engine like this one here. There are a couple differences between going with the Kawasaki engine and the Kohler engine. The biggest difference is going to be the roll bar setup. So on the Kohler engines, you're going to have a fixed roll bar like you would have seen in the previous Z200 lineup. But if you opt for the more deluxe Kawasaki engine, it does come with this folding roll bar, which is a huge addition. I know that was a pretty big suggestion we had on the old 200 model, is that a lot of customers wished that the roll bar would fold down, especially when you're going underneath trees and low areas on your property. This one does fold down, so you can just, it's the same as on a tractor, you just pull out the pin, fold it back to get under whatever you need to get in. Or if you're also parking it in a lower shed, you'll be able to do that as well. The other difference between the two is that the Kawasaki engine models now come with a suspension seat in the 48 and 54-inch models. The 42-inch deck still is a price fighter option, so it doesn't come with a suspension seat or a folding roll bar. But if you opt for the Kawasaki engine with the 48-inch deck or the 54-inch, you will get the suspension seat and the roll bar. Now that we've covered the basis of looking at the different models in the lineup, we're going to take a deeper look at this model specifically. I think this is going to be the most popular one that we sell, the 54-inch deck with the more commercial grade Kawasaki engine. Looking at it as a whole here, it looks actually closer to a Z400 model than it does to last year's Z200 model, which is a really nice addition because it's in that sweet spot in price where you're a little bit more money than a more residential mower, but you're not quite to the level of money that you would be in a commercial model. So I think these are going to be really popular this year. Looking at it, the deck is a fabricated deck, so it's not a stamped deck. It's a 10-gauge steel fabricated deck with a 24 horsepower Kawasaki engine. So you're going to have no trouble mowing, mulching, bagging, whatever you need to do with this in wet or thicker grass. This mower will be able to handle it. And then looking at the operator's platform, you'll see that suspension seat that does come standard again on the Kawasaki engine models in the 48 and 54-inch deck. And then something that I thought was pretty neat back here, they've ditched the keys on the Z202 series on the 48 and 54-inch decks. It is push button start now, which hopefully this works out for Kubota. We'll have to see the longevity over the next couple of years to see how well that system holds up. But right now it is a pretty good feature because I don't know about you, but losing lawnmower keys is pretty common around here. We sell piles of them over the counter. And then the hour meter, it's in a more convenient spot as well. It's over on the left-hand side, easy to read. Previously, it was on this dash over here. They've kept the same deck height adjust as well. So it goes from about 0.25 inches all the way up to 4 inches, and they go up in 1/4 inch increments. You just raise the deck the whole way to the top like it is now, and then you just spin this knob in order to dial in how high you really want to cut your grass. Popping the front cover here, you'll see that it's easy to get at all your blades and pulleys if you ever need to change the belt on your deck. And then if you want to take the whole deck off to clean it during the winter time, or you want to do a mid-season clean on it, the only thing that holds up the deck are these 4 pins, one on each corner all the way around, so you can drop the deck right down to the ground, pull the deck out, and then give it a good wash. Believe it or not, there is a fair bit amount of storage on the new Z202. I know that's weird to say on a zero turn. It doesn't really go hand in hand with talking about storage, but there is. There's a drink holder, and then there's also a little tray on the right-hand side, and then there's a closed compartment here, which is fairly big. If you needed to store some tools or whatever you need to store inside of that little compartment, you can. And then looking at the engine back here, I'll show a closer up video, but it is a 24 horsepower Kawasaki engine, and these do get sold on some commercial units, so this is going to be a very competent engine for a residential zero turn. That's what you have to keep in mind. This is a residential zero turn, but I would consider it to be top of the line residential. If you want to get a zero turn that's going to last you 10, 15 years with very little issues, this would be the one to get. Just the way it's built like a commercial mower, but with a residential price tag. There are a couple options that you can add to the new Z202 series. They're very similar to previous year's models. You can get a mulch kit if you do like mulching your grass, and then you can also get a bagger option. Just keep in mind that the baggers from Kubota on the Z202 series do not have a blower on the side of it. They're purely going to be powered by the lift that the blades can generate to blow the clippings into the bag. So they're not going to have extremely good suction like a bagger would with a dedicated blower system, but they do a pretty good job for dry or semi-dry grass. But if you're expecting to get a bagger on this and pick up leaves, then this really might not be the mower for you. Now a quick comparison between last year's Z200 models and this year's Z202. That's going to be the 48-inch Kohler engine, so that was the top of the line model of last year, and this is the top of the line model this year. Looking at them side by side, I hope it comes across on camera, but this one is significantly bigger. It's a few inches wider, a few inches longer, and it does sit a little bit higher. And that is nice that they added the folding roll bar, since it does sit a little bit taller. If it wasn't a folding roll bar and it was a fixed one like last year's models, you'd have a little bit of a more difficult time getting under objects, trees, stuff like that. But yeah, overall, they've done some really nice changes. They haven't gone overboard adding a bunch of crazy new features to the series, but they've definitely done a lot of value added features that I think a lot of people are going to find beneficial when they're mowing their lawn. And that's where we're going to end today's video. If you had any questions, remember to leave them down below in the comments. And if you're liking the videos, subscribe and drop a like if you can. If you need help with parts, sales, or service, give us a call at 613-225-0555. Thank you.